All right, welcome to another edition of the Extra Point here in North Florida. High school football action from around the Big Bend, Panama City, the Florida Panhandle, and all points in between the I-10 corridor stretching from really from Emerald Coast all the way back to Lake City. I'm Mark Adams, and I'm joined by my crew, my gang. We're looking to start some trouble. Coach Cofield, Andrew Jupe, and Eddie Quinkers Jr. Guys, it's been an eventful week. We are knocking on the door of the college football season, and for the most part, I think we can get ready. We kind of got a little taste last week. We saw what was that? Iowa State take on K State over in Ireland. That kind of didn't do it for me, but it was nice to see college football once again.
Man, it was fun. I did know a coach on the sideline, call him BA, and I was rooting for K State, but looked like Iowa State came to play. It was kind of a shocker to me, but I was excited to see some football. It was getting boring, right? I love baseball, but not until the playoffs.
Yeah, a little less heartbreaking than Ireland last year, Coach. It was good to have no dogs in the fight.
Yeah, we don't need to bring that up now. It's 2025. I actually found it more entertaining with some of the FCS Division One games that I saw, and especially Idaho State giving UNLV a scare. That one was entertaining. And the last one of the day, Stanford and Hawaii, how that came down to
Hey, I
Hawaii.
saw that. I saw that.
That was fun.
Hawaii got a little quarterback out there that's like really. I mean, he was. I mean, it's weird because it was late. It was late here on the East Coast, but every time you catch Hawaii, it's always like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. But man, that quarterback they have is pretty special.
He is. Definitely keep an eye out on the Warriors this season. Expect them to make some noise way out there in the Pacific.
Seeing as it's in Las Vegas, I know the bettors lost a lot of money on that game, man. Who expected that?
Now, Southern did not live up to the hype for me. Man, that was man. North Carolina Central just dragged them the entire game.
Yeah.
They may still be running up the score right now. Just all that hype for Southern football, and I didn't really buy into it. I didn't trust it, but man, that is a huge letdown over there on the bluff.
Man,
Yeah.
Mark, you don't have to talk about those guys because you're going to start some problem. You know they're very sensitive, since you're a rattler and everything talking about Southern. Hey, they did the best they could with what they had.
But at the same
We
time,
gotta-
Mark's not wrong. I mean, I watched a bit of that game, and NC Central is just a better team. This team is coming off of a good winning season just last year, and
Southern got to
to win the MEAC this season.
Yeah, I can see Central walking. To me, the MEAC is probably going to be the most entertaining because you've got what's that Vic over at Norfolk State. You've got Deshaun Jackson taking over Delaware State. That actually, and then you got South Carolina State still has a good chunk of their guys coming back. The MEAC probably is going to be the most entertaining.
Yeah, too many ex-NFL players coaching, and a lot of these guys. I'm kind of curious. Most of those programs have struggled in the win-loss over the years. I wonder what they could do to improve it. Only thing that makes a team get better is getting better players.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, but it's kind of. I understand it. You got to get the ticket sales up. You got to get people excited. I don't think Delaware State has had this much buzz around their program ever. So
I don't think if you don't win any games, it'll fizz out. And I guess maybe being able to compete in the MEAC might help, but it's been a long, long time since they've been any success at that program. And Norfolk State was struggling too, so maybe the excitement bringing in players. You got to get kids to come.
I can see a lot of kids want to play for Vic. I can see that.
The same could be said for Deshaun Jackson too at Delaware State, because now that Delaware is actually making the jump to Conference USA, this season is going to be their inaugural year as an FBS Division I school. The spotlight can now turn to Delaware State just a little bit by being the only representation at the FCS level, and you got a former NFL receiver that at one point we could say was top 10 dual threat receivers of all time. So I think the Hornets are off to a good start with him over there, and we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I think
Well, the most exciting thing you're going to see, Mark, is Michael Vick throwing to Deshaun during the game.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the matchup because I think it's going to be taking place in Philly. Is that if I'm not mistaken?
Oh
Lincoln
man,
Financial Field.
that's going
Wow.
So that's going to be a good one.
Wow.
All right, so FSU made a major change. They brought back the garnet end zones. I don't have a picture, but I really don't care as long as they find a way to get into the end zone. I really don't care what color they are. They could paint them checkerboard. They could be polka dots. As long as we end up in the end zone, I don't care. And then of course,
Cross the line.
FAMU the Rattlers taking on Howard in the Orange Blossom Classic down in Miami. So it's going to be a good weekend. It's football's back, especially on the college level. I'm really, really excited about that. Don't really have an over-under on FAMU's wins and losses or Florida State, although a lot of people are kind of predicting Florida State to at least get 7 wins. They might be able to snatch a couple, but we'll see a new look offense, under Gus Malzahn and kind of how Mike Norvell has retooled everything. We'll get a chance to see it unveiled on Saturday. Big matchup against Bama. So the trash talk between the ACC media days going back and forth, man, it's going to be some bad blood out there come kickoff time.
It's going to be black. Let me tell you something, Mark. They're going to
be nice.
They're going to try to kill the quarterback. I'm just telling you. He talked a lot of talk. He talked a lot of trash for the game. It might make it interesting. They might lose their minds trying to get hold of him. But he did a lot of talking.
He seems to feed off of that.
Yeah.
He don't block. He don't tackle. He don't block. He a quarterback. The pretty boy position. That's like the guy going out talking all that trash and getting behind the crowd, and he ain't got to take the beating. It's gonna be tough. I'm excited to see that. I think that'll be pretty good. I really would enjoy watching that because I think FSU gonna surprise some people.
Yeah, I think they might.
Yeah, because Alabama. They ain't like they. Saban been gone a couple years. It's not like Alabama is the Alabama of old. They come in here the wrong way and don't bring their A game, and they get in a close game going into the fourth quarter. It could be trouble. And looking at in the past, it's just the first game of the season where you make a lot of mistakes.
All right, moving on to some local news. Just a little bit of somber news as we have to say farewell to a dear colleague. Mickey Clayton passed away earlier this week, and we enjoyed being on his show. He was a frequent visitor at our media days. Very funny guy. Always found a way to ask the right kind of questions. Especially during basketball, you could tell that was his passion. He loved the basketball community, and there's going to be a void in the Tallahassee Big Bend area with his loss. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his daughter, who's longtime coach at NFC. And one of the things it seems for some of the young people, it may seem like ancient history, but man, he really left his mark on Florida A&M. Has a rare distinction of being able to win conference championships with both the men's and the women's teams. And, honestly, in an era where women's basketball just was kind of, really a blip on people's radar, he really cranked up the atmosphere and made it a big deal, and people kind of got behind it. I actually remember I remember the '98 men's team he led. They didn't do much in the regular season, but they just went on this incredible run in the MEAC tournament and ended up making the NCAA tournament. So yeah, rest well, Mickey. We will miss you, and our thoughts and prayers go out to uh, his family. Just an incredible guy that really cared about sports here in the Tallahassee Big Bend area, and he'll be missed.
Mm.
Mark, uh, uh, it's a sad occasion. That was one great guy. We were one-time neighbors. Uh, I never had anything negative come out of his mouth. He's a positive guy. He influenced and mentored a lot of young people in the basketball field. If you want to know something about basketball, that's who you're going to ask. And he's going to be truly missed. He's a great guy. Love the times we got to talk. Super guy.
Yeah, and then some other news. This is also just disappointing news. Russell Ellington has departed Gaston County and has taken a job at Savannah State, ending a really just an incredible era at Gaston County, being their head football coach. I do feel for the program. It's never good news, of course, when you hear about the suspensions that come down, but understandably so, when you've got a family and you've got the ability to be able to further advance your career. This is a guy that really left his mark not only on Gaston County at Gaston County High School, but also at Monroe. Took both teams to deep runs in the playoffs. Coached a ton of kids to collegiate to really launch their collegiate careers. And just really just an all-around competitive guy that be missed in the area. I'm one of those people where the better teams are, the more we have great teams in this area, the better the brand of football is. And you hate to see teams that were really on the precipice of greatness just kind of fall off due to just things that are beyond their control. But yeah, we definitely wish him well. It's been great seeing him on the sidelines, and the success that they had really represented the area and this brand of football. I can say exceptionally well with their state title run last year. And he'll be missed as well in this area, but I definitely wish him well at Savannah State. That's kind of the area where he's from. So kind of going back home to his roots a little bit, and of course he'll still keep ties in this area, as this is still a recruiting hotbed. So I don't think we will have seen the last of him, but it'll be weird seeing him in the orange and blue at the collegiate level.
Yeah, Coach Ellington was a pretty solid guy. Got to know him a couple of times, talked to him. He really had hopes for the program at Gaston, and looked like they were almost there until the incident with the FHSA. Uh, they were considered one of the better programs in the state. Went to state last year, and then it looked like they were going to repeat this year. And unfortunately, things happened, clerical issues, uh, all kind of stuff with the state, and it kind of took the team apart. And with his suspension, really kind of took the program down a peg.
Yeah, and I like how you kind of paired him up here, Mark, kind of side by side. Of course, not knowing Coach Clayton super well, but being shoulder to shoulder with him for some of those Godby Rickards games in both those arenas, and just what he did for the community, right? And just a joyful man, and doing a lot of things for young people in the sport and outside the sport, really. And then you flip over and you see Coach Ellington, obviously a little bit different circumstance, right? So we'll see it with a little different lens, but to me, from my perspective, brought a lot of the pride back in Gaston County, like you said, from not only the Monroe days, but also into Gaston. Something that we really hadn't seen harness since like the heyday of Shanks High School, that we've seen kind of Gaston County. I know the population drop and all the reorganization with the West Gaston, East Gaston, now just regular Gaston. But it was cool to see them kind of on the up and up. And we know they'll press on. They'll be the next chapter, but I'm excited to watch him do it at the collegiate level up there in Savannah State. And we're definitely going to keep an eye on what he's doing up there on the East Coast, just north of the border.
Yeah, I remember interviewing Coach Ellington in his first season taking over Gaston County. Such energy he brought to the program and a really good change moving forward. Like you guys mentioned, like the things that he was able to accomplish at both Monroe and Gaston County says a lot. And it's unfortunate, I think, just in general for the whole community in the county, to have someone that has been just building such a great foundation and now moving on to the next big and best thing for him. Wish him nothing more but the best at Savannah State. But definitely now moving forward, it's tough to see because I feel like this has been a consistent thing over in Gadsden County where something great is constantly being built, with past head coaches that have gone on to the next level, But when one door closes, another one opens, and we'll see who's ready to take up the mantle to being the next guy for Gadsden County moving forward.
Yeah, I still think there's no shortage of talent, and we all know that west of Tallahassee, there's just a matter of being able to navigate this new landscape, and for the most part, I do agree that um, there just has to be some good notes, some high notes left about his run, and a lot of what I have seen is that there is literally the next man up, the mentality over there. And I do think that a lot of what we have seen, it's just about the kids rallying around the next coach. The next great leader will come in, and that program will surge again. So, again, this is an area that is still a hotbed for talent. And, when you see the college coaches coming through, it just speaks volumes. So we definitely wish Coach Ellington well. And we definitely hope that, our thoughts and prayers once again go out to the family of Mickey Clayton. Great individuals. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Week number 1 scores. It was really kind of, for the most part, we cast our votes and everything. I think we were pretty close. We only got upset, I think, once or twice, but everything kind of fell in place like we thought that it would. So let's go ahead and jump into it. For the most part, we have, I would say, I think we had 24 games around the area. So
Wow.
that's really how you want to start week 1, number 1, with a bang. So let's go ahead and get it started. Let me pull up my slide here. Leon Wakulla, and this one took place on a Thursday night. And War Eagles, I think Leon came out and swung pretty hard, but Wakulla outlasted the Lions, and they took it 37-20 over Leon on the road.
Well, it looks like Leon came out to play, while Color probably didn't think after watching last week that it would be that tough a game, but uh, it was tough for them for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, Leon while Color just took over, and Coach Bell might get this thing going this year, and we'll be looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, there you go. And I think the scene was set perfectly for you all. You remember back to media day, Coach Cleese was talking about how he's really excited about Owen, kind of the coach on the field, and you kind of saw it play out. Him tossing 4 touchdown passes, looking really confident in the offense, completing 68% of those passes. He was slinging it around to the skill players out there, taking care of business on offense and doing what they need to do. Defense held on late, held on, took care of business, got yourself to a position to go 1-0. And I think we'll be seeing a little more of those baby blue uniforms, gang. I'd like to get Coach's take on what he thought of the baby blues. Did you have a chance to see those, Coach?
No, I didn't. Who wore baby blue?
The uniforms for Wakulla, they got their alternate uniforms. They're baby blue.
Coach, no comment.
I didn't understand that, but yeah, I was listening to this game on the radio on Wave 94.1 FM, and for like Wakulla led most of the game. They pretty much led the game, but there was at one point where the Lions just pretty much found a way to come back in. They brought it within 8, and then just somehow it got out of reach. I think it was like a safety and then a touchdown to kind of like put it out of reach. But Coach Bell, I think, has this team just staying competitive. And I think he was talking about that on media day. Is like, as much as this team wants to win right now, they just want to be competitive. And I think they showed not just Wakulla, but the rest of the Big Bend that they're going to be a team that is going to compete and is not going to go down that easy. They're not just going to roll over. So I definitely think Coach Bell has this team playing at a much better level. And I think that's one thing Leon has just been focusing on for the past several years, is just staying consistent on being competitive. And I think we're going to see a much improved team moving forward. So looking forward to it. And same could be said for the Wakulla War Eagles. They got too comfortable, but I think lesson to be learned: when you're far ahead, don't get too comfortable now.
Yeah, I was very impressed with just young quarterback Owen Cleese. Really just kind of looked, for the most part, it looked pretty good. And here's some of the action from that game. There's those powder blue uniforms, but didn't try to do too much. Didn't try to kind of overmanage the game. Just really just found his spots, looked comfortable. Here you can see he's got a man over the middle. And this is somebody that's just, kind of going along with the family tradition at quarterback, and really just kind of looked like he had, enough of pocket presence to just be able to find his way around. And he looked really comfortable in offense.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Cleese before the season, and he felt pretty good about this team, and it felt good about his son playing quarterback as he's used to it. His other brother was there, and these guys. I don't know if anybody knows, Coach Cleves was a quarterback, so
Yeah,
it's like you say, the family business, and they do a good job, and they've been very good for Wakulla.
Absolutely.
All right, let's
But
keep
yeah,
it
keep an
rolling.
eye. Before we go, Mark, I got to shout out Markeith Bugs. He's like the Calvin Johnson of Leon High School. Keep an eye on him, number 2. Um, big
I like
game
that.
for him. Big game for him. Keep an eye on him. Got to give some shout outs when we can.
I like that. Nice.
All right, let's keep it rolling. This one out in the Panama City area. Bay jumped all over Arnold. Arnold did not let go. Took it 42-6. And man, this new look Bay High team is definitely going to be turning some heads.
Man, it's a surprise. I thought Arnold was there turn the corner, and I thought they'd come back this year and be. They had a pretty good season last year. Coach Griffin got these guys going, but Coach Brown at Bay came out with a purpose. And I watched part of the game online, and I was kind of surprised that they took over the game like that. I thought it was going to be a close game, and I guess they Arnold wasn't ready for what they got to see that night.
Yeah, they had it going on, passing game, running game, blocked a punt, got some scores, and it was kind of a runaway here for Bay. They look real tight, and I think there's something to these red teams out to our west guys are going to be dangerous. I think that's going to be a common theme when we talk about Bay, the Tornadoes, and there's another team which I know we're going to get to in a little bit that we want to keep an eye on as well. But they got it going on.
Wow, Bay High, 42 points. Must have came in there from, like, what is it that they have for Tornadoes? Yeah, so the wrath of an F4, F5. Yeah, no better way to start off the season than winning big. So definitely we're going to have to keep our eye out on the Bay High Tornadoes moving forward.
Yeah, I knew that they had the talent. They were just really young a couple of years ago, and it looks like a lot of those kids have grown up. They took their lumps last season. They were really, really embattled, and it looks like it's going to be paying off dividends. So Bay off with a bang. They got a huge matchup coming up this week against Mosley. We'll talk about them in just a minute, but Bay off to a huge start at 1-0 with a huge 42-6 win over Arnold. So now we got to definitely talk about this one. This one was a doozy because I call it Trojan magic, but Lincoln once again found a way. And that's just kind of the mark, the traditional mark of this team is that if you get Lincoln down somewhere late in the fourth quarter, they're gonna find a way to pull it out. And this game against Niceville, I think a lot of these kids, I think they really wanted this one. They battled Niceville twice last year, came up on the losing end both times, and call it what you want, but it was probably pretty nice for the Trojans to get revenge against one of their rivals as the Lincoln takes it 36-29 over the Eagles.
Yeah, Mark, this is one heck of a matchup. When you see it coming out, you knew that they were going to play each other. You knew the game was going to be tight. You knew it was going to be a fun game to see, and looked like it came down to the wire because at one time I think Niceville led for a couple of quarters, and the Trojans, just like you said, they didn't want to give up, and they came back and took the game at the end. And I'm excited to see what these Trojans doing. We saw them in Vero, and they were very impressive, and it looked like nothing has changed. They're getting better.
Yeah, they're rolling, looking smooth, and I think first time since 20, or I guess second time since 2019 that they were able to beat them on the field. Obviously, you had that forfeit back then, but hey, good things happen when you get Niceville at home. They always have to go out there. You play in Tallahassee, change of fate a little bit. But TJ was smooth, guys. 3 touchdowns, had a couple turnovers, but they battled through. Got enough on the ground to help the cause. And I'm telling you, man, Denmark was on a little bit of a field day in the receiving game. And we've seen the last, year plus now of what Cabran Paul can do. Lincoln's offense is humming, gentlemen. So good start off in Trojanville.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the stats here. Taylor Jacobs Jr. went off a 23 of 36, 318 yards, rushing, pretty much solid night by committee. But let's get down to receiving. Man, let's take a look at this. Malik Denmark. We saw him sparingly in the preseason classic, and it was really just Cabran Paul we kept hearing over and over and over again. But, man, a monster night, 9 receptions, 178 yards. Lincoln's got something in these wide receivers. And definitely you can't sleep on Trevor Jacobs. They look like they're going to be pretty dangerous at the receiving core.
Yeah, Mark, you can't be dangerous without a quarterback. And look like Jacobs is that one. He's that guy. And he finding ways. He mixing it up with his, when he was at Childs, a lot of times I watched him, he was looking for his little brother, but look like he's mixing up pretty good at Lincoln.
And then, of course, we got to talk about Trojan defense just looked really stout. They've got, a pair of juniors leading the way with Mitchell and Richardson. This is a team that is starting to look very familiar to those old Lincoln teams that we've seen in the past. And I mean, when you talk about teams that are poised to make a deep playoff run, Lincoln's they're looking the part right about now.
Yeah, Mark, I think this team, like we said, we were very impressed when we were in Vero, and they hadn't changed. They're getting better. And I think one of the things I'm going to have to give a shout out, I love the way this team was coached. They look like they're solid on both sides of the ball, special teams. They look like a solid team overall. And you can't win. You can win with just talent, but they're pretty good, well coached team.
Yeah, and moving forward, in this matchup that they had with Niceville, definitely this will not be the last time we see this matchup. Let's just be for real now. Speaking it into existence, we will probably see these two face off again in the state playoffs. It is bound to happen. I feel like there's a tie of destiny anytime these two teams play. And like what Andrew said, like anytime you get Niceville at home, even if it's one time, stuff can happen. So who is to say that playoff matchup, the next time they meet, which I think they will, who is to say it comes to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And it could work in your favor, just maybe. But that ancient saying, it's tough to beat the same team twice. That saying right there tends to be undefeated. But we'll see moving forward. But this is definitely a good win, a good sense of feeling and confidence moving forward for the Trojans.
Yeah, what looms in the playoffs is I mean, that's that you gonna have to drink your Gatorade for that one, because Fleming Island, Niceville, and then around the corner there's Lakeland. This is not for the faint of heart. So every week in that playoffs is going to be pretty stout and entertaining. The real question is can Lincoln stay healthy, and that we'll find that out later on. All right, Coach Cofield, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it to you. Go ahead and shout it out.
One of the best games of the whole weekend. Lincoln. I'm sorry, we're talking about Ricketts. Ricketts was behind by 20 points. I think going into the fourth quarter and made this crazy comeback with a little help from Garby, but mostly the Raiders played a tough game. They didn't give up. It's not like last year. Garby led the whole game last year, lost in the fourth quarter, and looked like they did the same thing this time. But this time, we had to come back from 20 points down. Man, I'm sorry, Ricketts. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and show him some love, because he definitely earned it. Jordan Kelly, we just got to talk about him. He's just electric. He definitely has the makings of a great signal caller. One of the things that I really like is just the way that the kid is just inventive. He finds a way to be able to keep the drive going, whether it's with his legs or just looking downfield. It's one of those where you really don't get a chance to, see it too often, because there's so many playmakers. There's only so many playmakers you can find, but just looking at him, like, man, just refusing to go down. That was. I'm always gonna be a Godby alum. I'm not gonna change my colors, but man, he is absolutely fun to watch. Cougar defense just kind of fell apart there later in the game, as Rickers just, they found a way to win, and congrats to the Raiders. Not to overlook, Godby led, pretty early in the game, and had a solid lead, but just could not hang on. Cougars are gonna have to do some work if they want to be able to kind of not only grab that first victory, but kind of finish off teams and play for 4 quarters. But man, there's another dart he threw there to the sidelines, and just not afraid to take some contact and just bowls his way into the end zone. This kid is definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, Mark. This Ricketts team. I will talk to Coach Lewis early in the season. He was really excited about the season. And I usually he come with coach speak. He said he expect this team to do just what they're doing. He expect them to be a very good team and make a playoff run. And with a victory like this can catapult a team into a great season, because it looked bad at one time. I'm not going to, I was keeping up with the score, and I was like, man, we can't lose to the Cougars. But because I had to hear these guys coming back on the next week, and I saw that, I'll be honest with you, I kind of stopped listening. And when I saw the score, I said, wait a minute. They were down by a touchdown, then they tied it up, and then they got an onside kick. Boom. Game, set, match.
So yeah, Raiders win a big one and a thriller comeback win, 41-34 over Godby, to move to 1-0 on the year. And Cougars still looking for that first victory.
And I'm sure it'll come to them. This was a fun, entertaining game. I came across some highlights on YouTube, and I must say, both of these teams have quite the experience, because I feel like the seniors on these teams have been together now for some time. And with all that knowledge that they've built together the past 3 years, it was shown in this game. So I definitely see a lot of good things coming for both Godby and Ricketts moving forward. I think they can both be really talented playoff teams and maybe even make those runs. And we'll see moving forward.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Man, this one started out with some fireworks, and yeah, McClay just pulled away. Marauders win big over Jefferson, 31-6. Juke, you were on hand. There were flashes of greatness from Jefferson County, and I think just McClay was just so physical they wore him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was going to be the emphasis. So we talked to Coach Sloan, and he emphasized it once again. Going back to media day, I feel like we talk about the coach speak all the time, right? But I feel like it was prophetic in a lot of ways. You talk about Wakulla, you talk about McClay, you talk about Coach Lewis kind of casting these visions. And yeah, the physical nature, while they didn't run the ball, I wouldn't say a lot. It was definitely more so, and it was definitely more balanced. And the defensive side, the front seven, when you talk about Abram Wildrick and a lot of those other guys really surging towards the ball, gave Jefferson County some trouble. But yeah, Jefferson County had a fight. And I think, as you see here, some of the little quarterback keeper, how about old Bashir's dusting it off, and it looked like he was one of the Grant brothers out there, the way he was kind of pulling it out and running a little bit.
I don't know how many Bashirs there are, but I hope there are some more coming behind this one.
So many.
What's the adage? We got a couple, but it's not enough, Mark. We just need a couple more every 2-3 years. Keep it rolling. But yeah, the run game looked solid when they needed it, and I was really impressed, especially on the lines, taking care of business. And some really big stuff. Jefferson County, couple plays away, could have made things really interesting. So I'm not going to shut the door on Jeffco, but McClay, I think a lot of people were questioning with all the regime change and everything else, but the Sloan era is off to a good start, and you got to like what you see.
Man, I watched the game. I was back and forth with everybody, and I was kind of surprised at the score. I like what I heard from Coach Bright doing media day. He was really excited. He was trying to bring that cowboy culture in and get these guys going. But hey, I talked to him today. He was a little disappointed in the performance, but he think he's getting close to turning around because when you lose a game, you always find the positives. You find out if we'd have did this, if we'd have done that, would have been better. And I think that's what he did. He looked at it, and it wasn't as bad as it seemed. And hey, you go into practice, you start over, and you play another game. You hopefully you don't make the same mistakes you made in the first one. And I think he's excited about the opportunity because he has some pretty good players that just got to perform, just got to get out there, cut down the mistakes, make things, and make plays.
And always stay competitive, no matter what you see. The scoreboard may show and say one thing, but your performance and what you do on the field says another. So for Jefferson County, man, just continue to stay competitive. And, I think that's the best thing you can do moving forward. Still early in the season, so anything can happen.
Yeah, and shout out running back you saw score that touchdown, number 22, Anthony White, just a freshman, gang. I was impressed by what he showed. I'm excited to see him going forward in his career.
Yeah, I again, with Coach Bright taking over at Jefferson, there's definitely going to be, some growing pains. But man, I was really impressed with how McClay just came out swinging. A lot of these kids have picked up where they lost so much talent from last year, but man, those underclassmen really retained a lot of that energy. And this is going to be if anything is that we've seen from last Friday, this is going to be a very physical ball club.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark, on that. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Hey, we got a front row seat. We're going to see all the guys. We're going to be sitting around watching. I love to sit and watch the young teams develop. I love to sit around and I like to see the teams that you saw last year improve to the next year. And I think Jeffco is going through that process. And I was surprised how well McClay played with, like you said, with all the changes. But I'm looking forward to the next week's game. They got a tough opponent coming up, and Jeffco might have a chance to win this next game they play. I won't predict it right now. I got a heads up on it though.
All right, back out to the beach, Panama City. Man, this was a drubbing. Mosley, man, this game this game got out of hand in the first quarter. Dolphins put up almost 30 points. I think they put up 29 in the first
Wow.
quarter on Rutherford and never looked back. And this one was just a runaway. Dolphins are on the hunt. And, a lot of what I've seen just from this group, they've only gotten bigger. They've only gotten faster. They've only gotten stronger. They've got some incredible talent on that team. We had a chance to look at Adam Land, one of the many components out there in that offense, and man, they're just spreading the ball around and letting the athletes do their thing. And this Rutherford team was a little bit more improved than last season, but man, when they get going, they are tough to stop. They can beat you in so many different ways, on the ground, in the air. Even special teams got in on the action. And this was just an absolute runaway as Mosley took it from Rutherford 64-15.
Ouch.
It's not much you can say. Rutherford had lost a lot of games close last year. But Mosley is the big dog in the Panama City area, and I'm looking forward to that matchup we got coming up with Mosley and Bay. Man, that could be a very exciting matchup, and we'll see who rules the city. Great game. I was kind of surprised it was that bad, but hey, I think Mosley might be a little better than most people think.
And they're angry too, gang, because I think they got a lot of heat for the way things ended last year, and because there was a lot of love the first 8 weeks, and then they got a lot of heat down the stretch, and so I think they're on a kind of like a redeem team campaign of sorts. So I like what I saw from the young Rams with the sophomore Reed, the dual threat guy is going to be fun to watch out there. He had a couple touchdowns, one passing, one running, but ultimately not enough against Mosley. And like Coach said, it's going to be a big one out on the beach here this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I've noticed about Mosley in these past 3.5, going on 4 years, is that when they win big. They don't just want to win their games in a simple traditional fashion. No. That is not the Mosley Dolphins for you. This team, like the score says it itself, 64-15, and they want to continue to go higher in every game. This team definitely got a lot of heat towards the end of last season, and like you said, AJ, they're on a tour of finding redemption. And we'll see what that looks like moving forward, especially with that matchup against Bay. Will they be tested? I'm not sure, but we will see. But man, it's going to be very tough to, I want to say, keep up with the Dolphins in the Panama City area.
Yeah, and they were spreading it around too. Your SEC tight end only caught 4 balls, and then your all-star running back Chisholm only touched it 10 times. Yeah. So this was a not the heavy hitter.
I call that offensive efficiency. They got in, they got the job done, and they got out and turned the lights off and cranked up the bus. It was really just one of those things where it's just like when you see a team like that, you understand that they are going to be built for the postseason. We just got finished talking about how good Lincoln was. This could be a potential postseason matchup. Just got to keep our eyes peeled and wait for when the playoffs start. But this is going to be another entertaining. We just know that Mosley they're not interested in going 10-0 in the regular season. They are looking for playoff glory. They're really trying to build something special there. And Coach Tommy Joe Whitten has the right. He's calibrated this team to make a deep postseason run, which we haven't seen coming out of Panama City in some time. It's been decades since we've seen. I think we would have to go back to Rutherford in the 90s since we've seen a team come out of Panama City and really make a deep, deep run. So Rutherford off to a hot start. They take on Bay this week. We'll get into that in just a moment. Let's keep it rolling here. Florida High edges Denellen 17-14, and for the Seminoles, this was a much needed. I don't want to say much needed, but this was another revenge matchup because they fell to Denellen last year on the road, and it was nice to get them back in their place at the Shack and eke out the victory over the Tigers. Seminoles now at 2-0.
Another great job by the coaching staff. I think they were behind. They came back, tied it up, and won with a field goal, which is, you want to win if it's 1 or 2 points or 50. It doesn't matter. And eking out the victory is a good solid start for a good program. And I think it was in jeopardy at one time, and they came through at the end. Never give up, never quit.
Yeah, keep on keeping on. And like you said, Mark, 2-0. A little bit of a rough go for the win-loss column last year. They've definitely flipped that around. And hopefully they'll take some of this big momentum with a couple really good Jamie Miller performances and then Hackett getting going in the run game. Hopefully they take that into a big matchup here this weekend.
Yep, looking forward to seeing more of Florida High as they move forward. And they have an exciting matchup coming up this week, which I know we will be talking about here real soon. But
Yeah, there's a lot going on. We got to show some love to Tegan Hackett. He really has emerged into his own. He was a tough runner last year, but man, this kid has really flown under the radar on the recruiting side, and just size aside, this kid runs big, and it definitely shows. I mean, this Tiger defense was not a slouch, and he just found a way to pick his spots and really gash them throughout the night. But yeah, this Florida High offense has found their RB1, if you will, and he's just one of those kids that's really tough to bring down.
If you're a good running back, and he definitely is, it is tough. You always have a guy who he doesn't look like a speedster, but he runs with behind his pads, and that's all you want as a coach. A guy that he's gonna give his all when he got the ball, and if you need 2 yards, he gonna get you two. He gonna get you three. And I think Coach Hickman is happy with what he's got. And some of these guys are developing. I remember when these guys were young, I guess young cats playing, when they were early in their careers, and you just see them get better and better as their careers go on.
Yeah, and when you're a good running back coach, I know you can speak to this. You love having an offensive lineman that can pave the way. A lot of those highlights, I see a fooling tackle wearing number 57, Makai Deem, the junior, is on the front row seat or setting up one of those long runs, those 10, 12, 15 yarders. So you got to appreciate and give some love to the line.
And Mark, I've missed Terry at Hang Up 38 told me something. Her son is on Florida. He's a lineman at Florida High. And he got his first offer from the Florida A&M Rattlers. I just wanted to throw that out. She was so happy that he went to camp there and they offered him a scholarship.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Seminoles off to a hot start, 2-0. After taking a dip last season, looks like Florida High has returned to form, and the schedule looks somewhat favorable for them going down the stretch. So we'll check in on them as we try to round out some of the scores. Let's move on around the area. Got to talk about this game. It was not on my radar, but man, Sneeze was able to eke out a 33-28, and this was an entertaining game over Cottondale to move to 1-0 on the season. And, for Coach Thomas, last year, the Pirates took a definite dip. They weren't used to, and this is, and again, if you pay attention to Panhandle football, these kind of teams, you get a lot of very senior heavy teams, and then everybody graduates, and then your next year's team, you're going to get a lot of sophomores, a lot of underclassmen, and it takes them a while to kind of grow up. Sneeds is in that middle portion where they're on an uptick now, and you've got some guys that really took their lumps last year, and this team is starting to come into their own.
Yeah, Mark, we've been talking to Coach Thomas quite a bit, been around the place. And when he got a good team, he takes advantage of it. Last year they wasn't as successful they had been the year before, but hey, beating Cottondale, that Cottondale team didn't used to be a threat to anybody. They gotten better after last year when they had a great run. I think they went undefeated and that's a county game too. They in the same district, and it's not district, but they're in the same county, and that's a big game. That's a big
Absolutely.
game. That's a real big game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And you
sure.
can
And you
see
got to love Tyron Thomas, dual threat, doing some damage there, the junior, 21. But watch out for this Collins dynasty. With
yes.
Odom and Garrett graduating and going on, I think a lot of people were sleeping on Cottondale. But you got the big three, gang. You've got Tremond, you've got Trayshawn, and you've got Zacharias, the Collins dynasty. Everybody eaten this past weekend. But Sneed's kind of like what we saw from Mariana, like Mark said, kind of the ebbs and the flows of rural football, right? Coach Thomas has got himself some experience. A lot of those guys, basically everybody coming back from last year. And, you're doing some stuff right when you're with a program for 12 years. And so I think Coach Thomas in year 12, and you start to see Sneed's. So look out for the Pirates here this year, gang. Good start to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Pirates. And when you say 12 years like that, that is what you call a solid foundation that Sneeds has over there in Panhandle football, also known as rural football. And, also respect to Cottondale as well. They were in it. They were close, just didn't get it. But moving forward, these two teams I think are going to be very entertaining to keep an eye on moving forward. And I mean, I grew up in rural county football, man, and there's nothing like it when you have towns like this that shut down and everybody goes to it and stuff. So both definitely have the fan support moving forward, coaches and everything. So exciting for those two.
So Sneed's off to a good start, moving to 1-0 on the year. And we'll see what else Coach Thomas. The schedule again is going to be pretty rough, but Sneed's definitely, this is how you want to start if you want to remain competitive out in the rural classification. Keeping it going, Madison County, this was a little bit of a surprise to me. I felt like the Cowboys had enough juice in the tank to be able to, especially at home at Boo Hill. I did not see this one coming, but man, DeLand came in and edged the Cowboys 21-20. And man, Madison doesn't really lose in the regular season at Boot Hill, so this is a rarity.
Yeah, Mark. But when you're playing a team that's on your calendar, I mean, they're playing up. I think D-Land is a 6-7-8. That's a tough matchup for a team in the rural classification. So, but it was a tough game. They were behind, and I'm not sure what happened at the end. Maybe they went for two. I'm not sure, but they came back and was poised to tie the game up, take the lead, and lost it at the end. Madison's schedule is no joke, and maybe because of the success, they got to play schools like that. I mean, can you imagine you playing D-Land one week, you got Lincoln the next, and that ain't an easy start.
It continues to climb up. Yeah.
Let's take a look at,
Wow.
Chad Mitchell. This was on any other night, this would have been enough to get the job done. 8 of 16 for 191 yards in a touchdown. This, on an average night, like Coach, you were saying, had they been playing somebody that was in their classification, this would have been plenty enough firepower to get the job done. Running back by committee for 153 yards on the ground. This is just kind of where, you look at the schedule for Madison, and it is no joke at all. It's definitely a gauntlet, but it seems to pay off huge dividends come playoff time. So Madison, this will be more of the same as they have a huge matchup coming up with Lincoln this week.
Yeah, like judging from what I'm seeing in the numbers, I mean, granted, yes, it's unusual and unorthodox when Madison County loses it at home, but I think the thing with how Madison County also the past few years, they like to challenge themselves. Let's just be for real. They are a team that understands where they are in their level of being competitive. So what are one of the ways you want to do of testing your strengths and your seeing where your strong suit are, your weaknesses and stuff? You play better competition. And this was an example of that. And DeLand is a very good program down there in that area, just 35 minutes north of Orlando, hands down, but yeah, it speaks for itself that Madison County just likes to challenge themselves. This was a good test for them. I know they came up just short 1 point. That must have been painful at home. I cannot imagine, but we'll see moving forward how this rule, or 1R, 2R, whichever terminology FHSA is labeling it now, is going to do moving forward. Because, yes, the schedule is no joke. This is a rule powerhouse that loves to play with the 6As, the 5As, the 4As, and so on.
All right, let's see if we can get into one more. This one was pretty fun. Seahawks spent all of last year, almost, I think, all of maybe 2 games on the road while their multi-million-dollar stadium was being built. And man, it opened with a bang. They had parachute dropping in, delivering the football. I mean, everybody came out. And it's a nice facility. The Jumbotron was lit up. This is one of the premier facilities, and man, they did it in style how you should, jumping all over their opponent 35-6 over Gulf Breeze. And the Seahawks, for the most part, I do think that sometimes, when you're nomadic like that for so long, it can take a toll on you. And I know it was nice for them to get back in there in some new digs at their home stadium. And for the most part, this is a team that's also much improved. Coach Tisa definitely has done a great job trying to get what is essentially a brand new roster with plenty of turnover. Of course, 2 years ago, Seahawks were one of those teams coming out of the Panhandle, and they were rolling. And then, of course, they graduated a ton of talent. But this is Grant Gilmore. Here, let me see if I can cue it up again. I had a nice 77-yard touchdown pass. And here, let me pull that up again. There he is. Boom.
Wow.
But, for the Seahawks, this is one of those where they needed to be able to kind of open up things the right way. And, for the most part, they're going to be competitive going down the stretch. We'll see what the schedule looks like. If they can hold up. But again, if you're healthy and you can navigate through, again, they got to play Niceville. They got to play Mosley. They got to play the teams in their area. But this is a team that definitely, looking at how they were able to move the football around, they've got some weapons out there, and they've got a pretty stout offensive line to protect their young quarterback. And this is one of those teams, I may have them as a sleeper, but I would not turn my eyes away from South Walton.
And Mark, talking to Coach Tisa this at media day, he thought that the idea they were on the road constantly gave them advantage this year because they got most of their games at home. I mean, they look like Niceville in a normal year, playing everything at home. And then, that's an advantage. You got a brand new stadium, and I think it's not quite finished yet. They got some other things they were going to do to it, but he's excited. And then you got this young, I think the quarterback is a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's excited. I looked him up. He is definitely a college prospect, and so they got a lot to look forward to with this team. If you got a good quarterback, it's kind of funny. Receivers tend to find their way to your school. So I think they're gonna be pretty good in the future.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's definitely keeping an eye.
When you throw down, when you get that multi-million-dollar stadium, people want to see you put up 35. They can get used to that. But yeah, Coach, we saw J.D. Brown glimpses last year. He's a junior this year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But yeah, as a sophomore last year, we definitely saw some glimpses, 4 touchdowns. He looked nice. Like Mark had the clips going. And you talk about playing up. Gulf Breeze is 5A school, gang. You talk about the Nicevilles, the Lincolns, same classification that South Walton is playing up in, and that's a wild district this year. When you talk about Walton, South Walton, and Freeport's in there. There's one more. Is it Pensacola? I know there's a 14.
Or it could be. I'm not sure if it's Pace or if it's Pensacola.
Catholic. Sorry,
Catholic's
the 4th.
That's
a wild division this year.
That is tough. That's tough.
That's monstrous, definitely. And you said multi-million-dollar stadium. Oh my goodness! Like this is where we are now in high school football in the state of Florida. Like, wow,
Big money.
multi-million-dollar. I mean, what's next?
They on the
What's
beach.
next? What's next?
They
Who's going to be the first?
South
Who's
Walton
going to
on
be?
the beach,
Who's going to be the
man.
first?
They got plenty of money on the beach.
Well, yeah. What was
Yeah.
it? Fort
And-
Walton
yeah.
did the same thing like 2 years ago, or where was it 3 years ago? But whole new facilities, everything. It's gorgeous out there.
Yep.
Like you said, Coach, those beach schools are turning it over here in the 2020s.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
man.
And the next thing you know it, gentlemen, we are gonna have some school in Florida will be the first team playing in a dome. Just watch out.
Man,
All
why
right,
would
some
you
other
want to be in a
scores.
dorm in this beautiful weather?
It's super hot in South Florida. Hey, you forget I live in Highlands County. I know how hot it is
Man,
down
I'm not gonna argue with y'all about the heat. Some other scores from around the area. Swanee falls big time to Columbia as the Tigers take it 42-6 over the Bulldogs. Bluntstown, a big winner over Liberty County, 56-3. Chipley
I
comes
expected more in those rivalries.
in Tallahassee and takes it over NFC 20-7. Coach McCorvey and gang are still looking for that first win. Walton downs Mariana 33-6. Bozeman comes back and takes it from Holmes County. It tied up for a good little minute before the Bucks came back in and they were able to seal the victory. Let me see. Moving on around the area, Coach Cooper and company down in Franklin County, big winners over Central, 31-0. Baker hammers Vernon 50-0. Coach Bugs, and really, man, Coach Bugs, if you listen or you're watching, man, we understand. I hope you've gotten a chance to unpack. Coach Bugs took the job literally a few weeks before fall camp opened up. Alcilla and Centena did not play. I did not see a score from that, and I believe that if I go back and I check my scores again, I think that was Tift County took it over Gaston County in what was essentially a postponed game, 22-0 over the Jags. Dothan, a big winner over Charles, 42-6. Was hoping to get to this one, didn't get a chance to get it queued up, but man, Taylor County, a big winner over Fort White, 20-3. Taylor County has had an opportunity where they really looked kind of stagnant in that first quarter, and then they really turned it on in the second quarter and pulled away from Fort White. Defense pitched the shutout in the second half as the Bulldogs are off to a 1-0 start. Lafayette all over Dixie County, 41-0, and don't look now, but that Dixie County team returned quite a bit, and Lafayette, man, they just absolutely blew them away. And then DRS falls to Abbeville Christian, 44-6, and that will do it for week number 1. Guys, takeaways, thoughts, because it's still young and the season's still young. Not a whole lot you can tell before we get into week number 2, but man, the teams that look like legit, they are looking the part right about now.
Yeah, Mark, you can kind of tell based on what teams got coming back, what you can look forward to. I think the good teams, they're always good, and some of the teams that struggle, some teams make a step up, some don't. But most of the part, the teams that are constant and they're always got good coaching, a good foundation, they're gonna always win. They might not win the state, but they'll win at least 60 to 70% of the games all the time. And what I saw from this, some of these teams are stepping up and might make a move to make deep playoff runs. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season that we just began. And I'm excited. You could talk about Lincoln High School. I get excited about them. Watching them, I got a chance when we were in Vero, and then I'm really looking forward to the next week competition, and I guess we'll get into that a little later.
Absolutely. All right, Juke, it's time. It's time. It's time.
What you want, Mark?
Week number 2. Let's go ahead and get into it. Big Thursday night matchup. Lincoln taking on Madison County. Madison not used to starting the season 0-1, and the Trojans, man, they look really hot. Lincoln's got Madison at home. This one's gonna have some intrigue to it. Not sure if Madison is going to have the same kind of mettle that they do away from home, with uh, especially with Lincoln being at home, and just to honestly, just the way that that Trojan offensive air attack is looking, it's definitely going to be a an entertaining game. We'll have to see which DB on the Madison team is going to be drawing either Paul or Jacobs. It's definitely going to be a tall defensive order.
That will be difficult, man. If you got to pick a receiver, you better play who's in front of you, because he's not. He don't care who you throw. Jacob doesn't care who you throws to. He mixes it up, pass the ball around, and I think that's what make them dangerous. Looking forward to the matchup. I mean, hey man, it's almost Thursday. Let's go.
True, absolutely. And Mark, I think you brought it up when we were talking about the Niceville game. When you talk about the wide receivers that we have going on, kind of reminds me, when you got Torrey Holt and you're guarding everybody on Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce is going to get his that week. So you got to be careful kind of picking your poison. I know Madison's got some experience back. I think 7 or 8 guys coming back on that defense. I'm interested to see where they are health-wise, looking at the box score to see if there's not some injuries that went down from last week. I saw some stats that are kind of atypical, so I want to do a deep dive on that. But it's going to be a big game, and Thursday night, like Coach said, we get it started early.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that Lincoln and Madison County game. I'm like, ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I do want to go with the Trojans, but then again, it's Madison County, man. At the same time.
Hey Eddie, the name don't win the games.
I know. I mean, when
I'm
I was
just
in,
kidding. I'm just messing.
I know you just messing with me. I'm just still. It's just like that particular matchup right there has, unexpected written on it. So I could say Trojans 1 minute and then boom, it backfires on me and voila, Cowboys pull off the upset. Or I could be wrong.
It happens.
All right, this one I would argue is even bigger than the Thursday night matchup. That's Mosley taking on Bay, and man, this is going to be the battle of the high octane offenses. Dolphins look like they will be. Technically, it's a home game for both teams. They share the same stadium, but man, Mosley looked good. Bay looked good. This is going to be one that I'm gonna definitely have my eyes on Friday night.
Well, that should be one heck of a matchup since both had big victories last week. Let's see who's for real and who's fake, and we'll find out. We'll find out. We're gonna find out on Friday.
Yeah, this is one of those points games, gang. When you talk about Florida playoffs, all that good stuff, this is an opportunity to get points. I think regardless. What are we thinking? Over under 80 total points in this game.
I'm gonna go with under 80. I think both teams we could see it both in the 30s, kind of like what we saw between Miami Norland and Vero Beach in the Treasure Coast Kickoff Classic. I think that's what you could see in this matchup.
A lot of fireworks. I know both defensive coordinators got to be locked in right about now. Because you're looking at how do you stop so many weapons on the field, especially on both sides of the ball. You can't sleep on Bay. Mosley would appear to have the edge just given last year's competition, but man, Bay is sneaky good. I don't think anybody expected the explosiveness we saw in the opening week, but this is a team that definitely can take advantage of some opportunities. Moving around, we got Wakulla taking on Taylor County. This is a classic Big Bend matchup. War Eagles and Bulldogs both 1-0 in week number 1. There's going to be some fireworks in this one.
Hey, And one thing I got to say, I heard a lot from Coach Boswell uh, this summer, and he thought he had a great team coming back, and this is one of his proving grounds. You beat Wakulla, you did a lot, and hey, I mean, you think about it. I'm looking at the matchups, man. This is kind of early to have these great matchups. It is really too, usually you have these kind of games late in the season. These coaches matching up, getting it out the way, finding out how good they're going to be
Well, you want to keep
early.
everybody healthy too. I think that was Taylor County what bit them midway through the season. These guys just started getting banged up, and it happens. But I can definitely see like we want to get all our guys and get everybody proven early on, just to be able to kind of give ourselves a fighting chance because you kind of get to see what and of course Taylor County started out really hot last year. And I think you play games like this, it kind of gives you a good test to see where you're at early on in the season.
Yeah, Taylor County got Fort White last week, gang. That's 2 in a row. That's a streak going. Any chance they get 2 in a row against Wakulla? Obviously had the big 27-20 win last year. Before that, in recent history, it was I think 2 out of 15, including last year.
Where is this game going to be played at, Mark? Is it
It's going to be at J.D. Jones Stadium in Crawfordville, and that's one of the toughest places to play, bar none. I don't care who's coming in there. I have it toughest places to play in the Big Bend are Niceville, Boot Hill, and then J.D. Jones Stadium. You don't just walk in there and get a win and just kind of keep
not Coxville.
Nah.
Oh man.
Nah.
That's what Rickers did.
Too many teams play there to have them, in my opinion.
Yeah, too many come through. Too many come through, and too many go. That's how
probably the most entertaining place to see a football game. You're gonna see some fireworks, but not tough. No, I don't have it. I don't have it that high.
No, I'm excited for that matchup. It's what you call Big Bend Gridiron Classics, and I mean the history that Wakulla and Taylor County have against each other. It should be pretty fun on a Friday night at J.D. Jones Stadium, which, they have to go into the Eagles' nest. That's gonna be a tough one.
Yep. All right, moving on. We got North Bay Haven hosting NFC. Eagles looking for that first win, but they'll have to do it on a Thursday night on the road. North Bay Haven also with some upstart with an upstart roster of fresh talent. They'll be looking to make some noise. So they didn't look too shabby in week number 1, even though things didn't go their way. First year, can't say first year coach, but at NFC, Coach McCorvey, definitely looking to see how he can get that talent kind of galvanized going through week number 2. This is an interesting matchup. Bozeman, we talked about this last week as well. Bozeman hosting Leon, and for Coach Pettis, this is one where he may have some familiarity, just coming from this area. May feel like he may have some inside knowledge on how Leon is working talent wise, but Leon didn't look too bad against Wakulla last week. This could be one where if Lions get a big road win, it could really be a turning point for the rest of the season for them. But Bozeman can't sleep on them as well. They've got home field advantage, and in my opinion, I think they've been able to dial up some stuff. I saw a few flashes there as they were able to get the comeback win in their opening week 1 game.
Man, I think Leon, bigger school, really should come in there and do some damage. I mean, Bozeman is a rural, and it's gonna be tough. I mean, you got a lot of kids, and the way Leon played Wakulla last week, I think that this might be Coach Bell's first victory.
Okay, there you go, Coach. I was trying to pull it up. Eddie, go. I'm looking something up. I want to double check what I think is a stat.
He coming with a stat.
You gotta get the stats.
Yeah. I like this matchup for Coach Bell and his Leon Lions team. But yes, although Bozeman is in a different classification and division and everything like that, there's another saying that, numbers do not win a battle. I think Leon has a 40-man roster. Bozeman is a 41-man roster. So anything could happen. I think it's whichever team gets on the jump start quickly in this game will have the advantage. So if Bozeman is going to be that team that jumps out quick, then it's going to be a problem for the Lions. Same could be said for Leon. If they jump out quick, going to be a problem for Bozeman, because I think that's what it was between Leon and Wakulla last week. Wakulla had jumped out early and got rhythm. It was difficult, and then the Lions found their A game and had to play catch up. But by the time they could get close, unexpected things happen and they came up short. So that's what this game is going to be. Who jumps out, quickly first.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep our eye on that one. Meanwhile, Holmes County hosting Port St. Joe. The Sharks had the opening week off, and they'll jump into action this week against Holmes County. This one has a little bit of mystery to me. I haven't seen Port St. Joe, and understanding how tumultuous last season was for them, I'm sure this will be an emotionally charged week number 2 game for the Tiger Sharks. Just trying to understand what each team is going to be bringing. I for the most part, Port St. Joe is always going to play tough. This is a classic panhandle matchup. Both of these teams go back quite a ways. I expect this game to be close as well. But Holmes County really hosting, and that might be the difference maker. We'll see as we get close to the kickoff.
Yeah, the mystery. Holmes, I think, has a new coach. No, I'm not. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. But we hadn't seen Port St. Joe. We don't. But in the Panhandle, those kind of matchups, man, you can't. They tough. That's a tough matchup, and you should. I wouldn't be surprised whoever wins. It'd be a hard game to pick.
Yeah, they got a young crew coming up for Port St. Joe, but that junior class is kind of budding and starting to see some production there. And the stat that I was looking up was the previous game, gang. For what it's worth, Coach Pettis, when he was at Childs, 5-0 all time against Leon during his tenure. So take that for what you will.
Yeah, 2,000 students to pick from too.
That time.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I noticed here, according to this, it says Port St. Joe. I guess this is their season opener at, no 0-1, no 1-0. Holmes is 0-1. Well, a matchup like this, hey, somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to get their first win. That also says for a lot of these other teams that are looking for their first win, that are coming in with identical records, somebody's got to win.
All right, let's run through the next little bit here. We've got Lafayette and Swanee. This, man, don't look out, but, man, the Hornets look really good in week number 1 as they host the Bulldogs. DRS looking for that first win. I believe in the past, I don't think how many games are we going back? I think 11.
Whatever.
And Battle FAMU High will be toasting Cottondale. Then we have Florida High. They'll be crossing state lines once again to take on Thomas County Central, who looks absolutely formidable. Both teams are 2-0, and this will be another good test for the Seminoles. Liberty County hosting Vernon, as both teams will look to be able to get their first victory on the year. Childs taking on Pelham out of Alabama. This time the schedule flips and Childs will be the host as they get them at home. And I believe that game might be on campus, if I'm not mistaken. Rickards hitting the road as they will take on Eastside on Thursday night down in Gainesville. A big test for the Raiders as they open up week number 2 on the road. Arnold looking for their first win against Providence Christian out of Alabama. And then McClay Marauders will be taking on Brookwood out of Georgia. Rounding out the schedule, we have Chipley taking on Linden out of Alabama. Franklin County hosts Bell. And don't look now, Franklin County trying to build up that trying to get the streak going again. Freeport hosting Jay, and that'll be an interesting matchup. Both teams return a lot of talent, but Freeport looked really good in week number 1. Graceville back in action. Good to see the Tigers getting back to things as they take on Houston Christian out in Alabama, or Houston County out in Alabama, and that will be also on the Thursday night. Hamilton County hosting Scintilla at on the road. Excuse me, not hosting, but they will be on the road at Scintilla. And Jefferson County, they will be heading down I-10 to take on Lighthouse Christian. Sneeds hitting the road against Seminole County, also in Georgia. They'll be crossing state lines. South Walton in a huge matchup against Fort Walton Beach. This one will be another packed house at the brand new stadium out in South Walton. Wewa Hitchcock hits the road against Brantford, and then rounding out the schedule, Arcilla Christian hitting the road to Petula Charter in Georgia, and that will do it for week number 2. For the most part, I've got my eyes on the games that I know I want to hit up, and then of course we have probably one of our biggest matchups. We got several, but we've got definitely my eyes on the Thursday night matchup between Lincoln and Madison County.
Is that it?
Week number 2 it is.
Wow, gosh. Hey, are we gonna give out an award this week?
Hey, you know that? Where's the chalice? Your championship cup.
I won. I had the best record.
Oh, you guys got awards now. I got to get involved with this stuff.
We got. Hey, I want to wear a chain.
A chain.
Well, you make sure you send me the slide for next week. We'll start posting everybody's records.
Why you can't send it? Why you can't post it now? I mean, I might not have another week like this.
I was gonna say you're catching that midseason magic early, Coach.
Oh, man.
Get it while you can.
Well, I'm just getting started, so hopefully that rubs off on me now since I'm coming in late. So we'll see how that helps.
Do I need to send the information to you, Juku? What we gonna do?
I sent the graphic. I don't know what more I can do.
I don't remember getting it.
Can I get a screen share, Mark, or is that?
Yeah, I mean, come on, y'all guys.
See if I can plug you in here.
I mean, come on, man.
Coach wants his roses. We'll give him some. He had some bold picks, which worked out. So
I didn't think it was that bold anyway. Man, you take it.
When you guys have the alma mater clash.
Hey,
let me see.
I can't wait to. Oh, does Leon play the Brickers this year?
No. That was just a preseason kickoff classic. It's been I want to say 3.5, going on 4 full years, almost 5 since Leon.
All right, guys, I got you.
Hey, man, put it up, drop it.
So,
I just want. Hey,
hesitant.
Had he won, it'll be on the front page.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, I love it.
But how about it, gang? Everybody's 80+.
Hey,
everybody's 80+%, which I think is pretty impressive.
But I won.
I'm just now starting, so I'm excited to see.
It's a long season, Cofield. It's a long
I just want to
season.
Hey, don't forget mine and then put everything up next week. That's what I'm saying.
It is a long season.
Do I need to send my results in to you today? I mean, because I'm gonna win next week too. So,
hey, Coach, this is for all the people that told you that you can't win trophies after week 1. I'm seeing the trophy right there. So,
well, me and Jupe will play background this week. That's all good.
Hey, do you?
But Man, we got some great matchups coming up for week number 2, but that will do it for this week's edition of the Extra Point. I am Mark Adams, and for my colleagues, my gang, my squad, Coach Cofield, Andrew Jupe, Eddie Quincus Jr., that will do it. And we'll catch everybody next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for another edition of the Extra Point after the games on Friday night. Check us out on Instagram for our post-game wrap-up show as we go over all the scores as soon as we can get them in fresh and hot off the scoreboard. Check us out there. And of course, we'll have some other things going on in the mix. We still got McClay football live, and hopefully we'll be adding a couple of other schools to that lineup later on in the season. So that will do it for the Extra Point. We'll catch everybody next Wednesday.